That's why one should never test the divine. Life, though brief, is a mere fleeting moment. Even a human life stretched to its utmost span of 70, 80, or 90 years remains remarkably short. This notion is emphasized in Luke chapter 12 verse 13-21 when an individual in the crowd asks Jesus to intervene in a family inheritance dispute. Jesus responds, stating he is not appointed as a judge in earthly matters. Jesus goes on to caution against the peril of greed, highlighting that life's worth isn't measured by material possessions. This lesson is conveyed through a parable about a prosperous man whose land yields an abundant harvest. Faced with surplus crops, he plans to tear down his existing barns to build larger ones, envisioning a carefree future of indulgence. Yet, God admonishes him for his short-sightedness, revealing that his life will end suddenly that very night, leaving him empty-handed in the afterlife. The parable serves as a reminder that those who accumulate earthly treasures but neglect spiritual wealth ultimately err. The folly of fixating on the present is evident in the man's actions. His entire focus is on his immediate comfort and material gain. This misguided perspective is shared by countless individuals who prioritize worldly assets like stock portfolios, bank balances, and material possessions. Yet, these pursuits, detached from a richer spiritual connection, are akin to the foolish actions of the rich man. Ownership itself is questioned, as possessions are temporary. We're merely stewards, borrowing items for a fleeting span during our earthly journey. This stark reality is illuminated in Job chapter 1 verse 21, where Job acknowledges his own transient existence and the transitory nature of possessions. A visit to a graveyard reinforces this truth. As time passes, people's memories fade, and even their gravestones bear testament to forgotten lives. This sobering reminder underscores the significance of an eternal perspective. Earthly achievements may garner attention for a while, but when life's curtain falls, the world continues unabated. Death isn't the end. It's a transition into eternity. A sense of urgency pervades, urging us to embrace spiritual responsibility. The parable of the watchful servants in Luke chapter 12 verse 35-48 mirrors this urgency. It depicts servants awaiting their master's return, emphasizing the need to remain vigilant and prepared for the unexpected. Jesus underscores that everyone, whether aware or unaware of divine expectations, is held accountable for their actions. In a modern context, we're blessed with unparalleled access to knowledge about God. The Bible is readily available in countless translations, and teachings are accessible through various mediums. This abundance of information, while a gift, also heightens our responsibility. Luke chapter 12 verse 47-48 asserts that those who possess greater knowledge bear a heavier burden of responsibility. As we've been entrusted with a wealth of spiritual understanding, we're accountable to apply it. Inevitably, judgment awaits. Hebrews chapter 9 verse 27 asserts that each person faces death followed by judgment. This reality should guide our choices and priorities. The transient nature of life contrasts with the certainty of judgment, and a fixation on earthly endeavors neglects the eternal realm. Preachers must address these vital matters earnestly, and individuals must prepare for judgment, for it's an absolute certainty. Indeed, judgment is an imminent reality that cannot be ignored. The urgency to prepare for it shouldn't be overshadowed by fleeting pursuits of this world. Society's focus on present concerns often masks the profound importance of readiness for what lies beyond. In contemporary times, pastors may emphasize practical aspects of life, like relationships and financial planning, which are significant but still uncertain. Marriage, retirement, and earthly achievements are all fleeting, as they rely on factors outside our control. What is certain, however, is judgment. Amidst the complexities of life, we're granted a unique opportunity in this era. A vast sea of spiritual knowledge is at our fingertips. The wisdom contained in the Bible, along with teachings from devoted scholars and preachers, is more accessible than ever before. We can delve into the depths of God's Word, grasp His intentions, and gain insights that previous generations could only dream of. This knowledge-rich generation carries a weighty responsibility. We've been given the tools to comprehend God's will, and thus, more is expected of us. This is a call to action, a call to live in alignment with the divine purpose, and a call to spread the wisdom we've gathered. Luke chapter 12 verse 48 resonates deeply. To whom much is given, much will be required. This maxim captures the essence of our times, a time of abundance and accountability. As we absorb the teachings of Jesus, we're reminded of the story of the talents. Each individual is entrusted with unique abilities and resources. Our response to these gifts influences our eternal destiny. The potential for growth and contribution in this life is immense, but it's essential to channel these endeavors toward the eternal purpose. The parable of the watchful servants, encapsulating vigilance and accountability, is particularly relevant. In an age where distractions are rampant, remaining spiritually alert becomes paramount. The servant who neglects his duties due to an assumption of delay faces consequences. Similarly, living under the illusion of time can lead us to squander our moments on earthly desires rather than investing them in spiritual growth. In our quest for knowledge and self-improvement, we should remember the true goal: nurturing our connection with God. Amidst the digital noise and distractions of this age, there's a real danger of losing sight of the eternal. Eternity should shape our decisions, actions, and priorities. So, as we navigate this era of unparalleled accessibility to divine wisdom, let's not be complacent. The digital age, with its abundance of spiritual resources, comes with the call for heightened spiritual responsibility. As we amass knowledge, let's not forget the essence, the call to prepare for judgment, the reminder that this life is transient, and the certainty that our decisions have eternal repercussions. In a world that perpetually moves forward, and where memories fade with time, the eternal truth endures: our lives have purpose, our choices matter, and judgment awaits. The fleeting nature of this world should urge us to look beyond and build our lives with a focus on eternity. As we grasp this truth, our perspective shifts, and we begin to live not for the temporal, but for the eternal. In the midst of the ceaseless march of time, the unchanging truth remains: the brevity of life is juxtaposed against the permanence of the divine. This understanding should propel us to live intentionally, to prioritize the eternal over the transient. It's not about rejecting the world around us, but rather about integrating the eternal perspective into our daily existence. The parable of the rich fool in Luke chapter 12 serves as a stark reminder. The man who focused solely on his earthly gains was blindsided by his own mortality. His plans to accumulate wealth for years to come crumbled in the face of an unexpected reckoning. It's a testament to the impermanence of our achievements, no matter how grand they might seem. Each time we pass by a graveyard or ponder the generations that came before us, we're confronted with the reality that we're but a fleeting moment in the grand tapestry of time. The forgotten gravestones are an echo of the temporal nature of worldly recognition. Yet, our legacy in the eternal realm is what truly matters. This awareness should lead us to a profound shift in perspective. As the digital age grants us unparalleled access to knowledge, we have a responsibility to channel that knowledge toward cultivating spiritual richness. We must resist the allure of distraction, striving instead for growth in wisdom and spiritual maturity. It's a journey of the heart, transcending the superficial and seeking the transformation of our inner being. The parable of the watchful servants compels us to live with anticipation, for the future is uncertain, but our readiness shouldn't be. We are entrusted with insights that generations before us could only dream of. This isn't an opportunity to hoard knowledge, but a divine call to share, to uplift others, and to be conduits of divine love and grace. The digital age has created a landscape where opportunities to connect, inspire, and influence are boundless. Our challenge is to navigate this landscape with discernment, remembering that every interaction can be a step toward eternity. While technology accelerates change, the timeless truths remain the same. Love, compassion, and humility are eternally significant. The truth of Hebrews chapter 9 verse 27 echoes in our hearts: an appointment with judgment is inevitable. This isn't meant to instill fear, but rather to awaken us to the importance of our choices. With every decision, we are shaping our eternal destiny. The transient pleasures of the present moment should not eclipse the eternal glory awaiting us. In this era, where knowledge surrounds us, we must harness it as a tool for spiritual growth. We're not bystanders in our journey, we're active participants in shaping our eternity. This knowledge is a gift that illuminates the path of righteousness. Let's cherish it, live it, and share it, so that when the inevitable judgment arrives, we can stand before it with confidence, knowing that our lives were lived in alignment with the eternal purpose. The digital age, with its abundance of information, is a reflection of the bountiful grace of God. In this age of access, we are called to be faithful stewards of the knowledge we've received. It's a journey of responsibility, accountability, and transformation. And as we navigate this era, let's remember that the true measure of our lives is not in the accumulation of worldly wealth, but in the enrichment of our souls and our eternal connection with the divine.